Greetings, folks. This is DC Investing, Reach Financial Independence, and I'm talking about topics that can help others on their pathway to financial independence. And topic that I wanted to talk about today was the way to reach millions. And you've got to be able to earn money while you sleep in order for that to happen in most cases. And I was listening to a podcast today that kind of got me clued in on this subject. And the idea is that there's a limit to how much you can earn at your W-2 job. And personally, I was a electrical engineer for decades, and I definitely recognized the limitations that existed at my W-2 job. And engineering pays pretty decent in comparison to some of the other things that are out there. I did have to, dedicate 6 years of my life through schooling to get to my engineering degree, which was quite the sacrifice, but it paid off for me over the long term. But I could kind of see where the range of salaries were at my company, and there were just limitations there. Even if you were mid-level, upper level management, we lived in Utah, and so it's like quarter million might be kind of your max out. I suppose if you're leading the company or doing huge things on programs, maybe you made $500,000 a year. I really doubt that some of the guys were earning that, but you really have to be high on the management chain in order to do something like that. But still, that's a limitation. There's only so much you can trade your life's time for in a company, in a W-2 job. And so the thing that you have to realize is working for a paycheck, trading your time for a paycheck, there's a limitation to how much you can earn. The trick is to try to figure out a way to create something that then amplifies your income. And so some folks do that with podcasts. They spend their time creating a following and get popular, and that amplifies how much they can make. They're still kind of trading their time in order to make the content, so they're not completely free. But really, the easiest ultimate way to just be truly financial free is just to invest in the stock markets. If you bought real estate, you still have to manage that real estate or hire a management company. It's not headache free. But in the stock market, you buy what you buy, and then you kind of reap the rewards of that slowly over time. And I really like high dividend paying things. I own a lot of oil pipelines, some energy producers. I just kind of like the residual dividends from it because it's truly something that I do not have to do at all. If I want to, not look at it, then I don't have to. And there's been a couple of vacations where I spent a couple weeks this year in Cancun, Mexico, and the year before I was a couple weeks in Hawaii, and I was just having fun with my toes in the sand. And I'm still kind of watching the stock things. I like to go when it's cold in Utah, so I was out in January in both of those cases, and I'm just still kind of monitoring things. And I made some purchases at the beginning of the year, no big deal. But by and large, I don't have to do anything with these stocks anymore because I've acquired enough. And I think overall, I'm making about $135,000 a year in passive dividends. That turns out to be something like $370 a day for 365 days a year. And that's enough for me to live on. So, passively through, the distributions that come from the stocks that I own, they will continue to pay me for the decades that I choose, to retire over. I don't have to do anything else for these. I just slowly traded my W-2 day job work to buy investments. And now the investments pay me every day when I'm awake or when I'm asleep, no matter what I'm doing. They will just, continue to increase and pay for my lifestyle. So, that was my method that I used to try to become financially free, is to invest in income generating assets. I own a lot of oil pipelines, consumer staple stocks, and other things that throw off dividends. And then it's kind of like I don't have to worry too much about what these things are doing. You got to kind of be smart about your markets and things. And I do really like stock market investing. I enjoy, keeping up on things. It's kind of fun for me. But but I had to, the principle is you've got to trade your W-2 time for creating something that will give you passive income that will continue to pay you when you're not there. You need to be able to earn money when you're sleeping, earn money when you're not working, to truly be financially free. And one of those ways is the stock market. And that was the thing that I used slowly over time. And now I'm at that point where I don't need a day job anymore if I don't choose to do work. So that's kind of, my daily thought for this channel is you really have to kind of make the decision to do the upfront sacrifice to, do the investing so that you get the assets that then pay you when you sleep. But really that's the way what you have to do in order to become financially free is find out how to trade your W-2 work for assets that will then continue to pay you even when you're not working. So that's my thought for the day. Cheers. Hope you find this interesting. Like, subscribe, and I'll continue to throw out content that inspires or gives you opportunities or thoughts that might help you. We'll see you. Bye.